Hey, Anthony here with wildgear.us. This is day 2 of my North Georgia survival trip. I got up about a half hour ago, made it through the night. Pretty miserable in that tiny shelter, leaked all over. Definitely a learning experience. I made it too small, didn't put enough on. But I got up this morning, put my Mylar blanket on top of it. Now I got a nice waterproof shelter. But I'm also collecting some rain on top of it over here. And I have the plastic set up over there collecting some rain also. So I'm going to go ahead and give the gun a coat of oil. I'm going to head out for a little bit. I don't expect to see anything, but at least I'll get out, walk around, stretch my legs. It's better than being stuck underneath that tiny shelter right there. So I'm going to go ahead and give the gun a coat of oil, head out for a little while, and I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Alright, well, I just got back to camp. Of course, as soon as I left, it started coming down. Rain started coming down pretty hard, pretty heavy downpours, but I just went ahead and walked around. I actually found another source of fat wood not too far from here. I'm going to go harvest some of that in a little while. My poncho is actually underneath this shirt. I had balled the shirt up last night and tucked it in the corner of the shelter to keep it dry. Well, it didn't work, so it got soaked, so I'm not really worried about this getting wet because it already is. But I have the poncho underneath here keeping my core dry. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm collecting water now. Of course, I didn't bring enough aquamarine chlorine dioxide to last me the full 4 days. Probably half that if I'm lucky. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm going to collect some water here with the rain. I went ahead and loosely threw this Mylar blanket over the shelter this morning, so that way the water can collect in the pockets. And it's hard for me to get close to it to drink it, so what I'm doing is I'm taking this Coleman towel here and I'm just kind of soaking it up. I'm putting it in my mouth and sucking the water out of it. Now quite a bit's collected here. I can probably get my cup over here and scoop some out with my cup. Collected quite a bit when I was gone. And then over here, I just got that blanket out on the ground. You can see how it's collecting all the little pools there. So throughout the day I'm going to go ahead and sip on that too. Collect that. That I can kind of take the plastic and pull it up and probably just dump that right into my cup. But looks like I probably already collected about a half a quart of water here, so I should be good for the day here. Here's a little bit more over here underneath that stick. So as long as it's raining, I should be good on water. Well, I walked off to try to collect some of that fat wood, and of course, as soon as I left, here comes the downpour again. Seems to be whenever I try to do something, it starts pouring. So I got myself leaning against this big pine tree underneath the direction where the tree's leaning a little bit, trying to stay a little bit drier. It seems to help a little bit, but every time I try to do something, it comes down to torrential downpour. So I'm going to kind of hang here for a few minutes, and then it's not too far, probably, I don't know, 50 yards, maybe 70 yards. I'll go collect some fat wood, and then I don't know, I'm going to have to make a fire at some point this afternoon, try drying out my clothes. It's going to get cold tonight. It's supposed to drop down to probably the mid-40s. So I think it's important that I get some of my clothes dry. I think as far as water tonight, I think what I'll do before dark, I'm going to go over, fill up my canteen with water from the creek over there, and then throughout the night I'll just boil it and drink it. That way I'll have something hot to drink too, help keep my core temperature up. But yeah, rain. Hopefully it'll let up soon. I gotta figure out what I'm going to do with that shelter today too. I don't know if I'm going to completely take it apart. I got some duct tape and cord, maybe do a better job putting that Mylar on it, or go ahead and take it completely down. I have the Survival Medic kit from Adventure Medical Kits. It's got a heat sheet survival blanket in it, and I can always just go ahead and make a shelter out of that too, kind of use it as a tarp. So I'll let the day progress and kind of keep those in mind, and a little bit later on I'll decide what I'm going to do with it. And as soon as it slows down too, I guess I'll start collecting some firewood. I'm going to go ahead and hang here for another night. I like this shelter location. I think I think with the rock in front of it, when it gets cold, it's going to make a great heat shield. I was warm last night. I was just wet. So if I can keep myself dry, I dry myself off first and then keep myself dry, I should stay pretty warm tonight, even if it does get down into the low to mid 40s. So, alright guys, be back in a little bit. Man, it was just really coming down right now. This is what it was like last night on and off. Heavy downpours. Hunkered underneath that tiny shelter, dripping all over me. Lesson learned. Well, it's still raining. I had about 45 minutes of absolutely torrential downpour. But I did get to collect quite a bit of water. Check this out. My canteen's already full. Well, I filled it about halfway, drank it, completely filled it up, and pretty safe to say I have water for the rest of the day. I got a couple quarts down there, so I should be good with that. I'm not letting it collect on the Mylar at all anymore. Okay, I wanted to show you guys quick this vine that I've been getting my tinder from. I'm not sure what it's called. I've been seeing this, well, when I grew up in New York, my friends and I used to go into the woods and cut these vines and swing through the woods like Tarzan. But I'm not sure what it's called, but this bark here, see on the underside, I've gone ahead and taken off the surface, and if I go underneath, I have good dry tinder. What I got to do is break this up into fibers, and I will have a tinder ball like the ones I showed you yesterday. But again, if anyone has any information on this, it would be great. I have no idea what this is called, but I can sit here and just keep peeling off the bark and get down to some good dry tinder that I could break up and use for a tinder bundle. I can just keep going at it and getting more and more of it. Right there. Now I can make a tinder ball out of what's in my hand, and it is dry, and use that to start a fire. Some good natural dry tinder in the North Georgia mountains. It's about 11 o'clock on day 2, my North Georgia wilderness survival trip. The rain finally starting to let up. It was literally torrential downpour for about 2 hours. I'm soaked all the way through. Even my feet are wet. My pants got soaked, dripped down into my shoes. Gore-Tex doesn't stay dry from the inside. So my number one priority right now is to fix the 2 major mistakes that I've made. And number 1 is shelter, and number 2 is getting myself wet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out, I'm going to start collecting firewood. It's still raining a little bit, but if the forecast is the same as it was a couple days ago, this afternoon, probably about 12, 1 o'clock, it should really start dying down, maybe 30% chance, 40% chance the rest of the day. So I'm going to go out there and start collecting wood, not only for fire, but I have to completely rebuild the shelter and make my stand here again tonight. So I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going to go out and do that, collect a bunch of firewood and shelter making materials, and I'll get back to you guys soon.